Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I know that some of you are probably going to make some comment on the title of this video because you're going to say, it's clickbait or it's fear porn. You're just trying to hype things up and sell some more video views. Well, the reality is that I think the title of this is exactly accurate. We are watching a perfect storm crest the horizon coming at us. We've known about it. Many of us have known that this is building. You know, it's like a meteorologist watching weather patterns and fronts and as they build, and they're like, you know what, this is going to form a storm, right? Well, that's what we've been watching up till now. Well, the storm has already been formed, folks. And it's multiple storms. It's a perfect storm. It's not just one really bad storm. It's multiple bad storms, multiple bad things happening at the same time. And of course, you all know my opinion on it. The vast majority of it is orchestrated, but that's not the focus today. The focus is that we have watched these individual storms in different aspects and areas of our economy, our society, our government, our everyday life, not just here in the United States, but around the world, form. And we've been warning about it, folks like myself and others. And now those storms are coming together and they're just starting to crest the horizon in front of us. They're coming at us. For those of you that's lived through tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff, you know what that looks like. You hear about it, you know it's coming, and then all of a sudden you can see that wall cloud or that storm front or whatever it is coming at you. That is the moment I personally believe that we are living in right now. Here we are, June 1st. Summer is nearly here, and I think that's when things are going to start to get bad. Gas just went up again, another new record high. I mean, we're going to see record highs probably for months now. And Time Magazine is letting everyone know that inflation is going to get worse. If inflation's going to get worse, it's all due to the diesel shortages, and that's certainly a big factor in inflation. But it's not the reason why there's inflation. Inflation is because we have over $30 trillion in debt, and we keep sending tens and hundreds of billions of dollars all over the world. And, you know, you can only have so much value in currency when you just keep, breaking that down and fractioning that currency by printing more and more of it. But again, that's a topic for another video. But they're letting us know that the inflation's going to get worse and that the diesel shortage is coming. Gas shortages are also happening, and that's something else that's being talked about. We're seeing little pockets of problems in the United States and also in Europe, where certain filling stations are starting to run low or even run out. We're seeing, of course, gas prices just the highest they've ever been, and people are really starting to feel that. And it's just going to get worse. This whole fuel shortage and diesel shortage, that is one big part of this perfect storm, because the whole world runs on gasoline and diesel. And when you take that away or you make it really expensive, it's going to drastically affect every part of our lives. Just a day or two ago, I talked about how they're predicting that this summer it's going to be worse than the 1970s when it comes to gasoline shortages and the fuel prices. That's back then in the 70s, we were dealing with kind of one or two things, inflation and the fuel. Well, here we're dealing with a lot of things all at once, a perfect storm. The food problems aren't going away either. As we've seen up till now, we're starting to see shortages come in. We're seeing prices rise and predictions of future problems in various aspects of food across the world. Malaysia here, they have banned the export of chickens because of protectionism. And while we don't get, I don't believe through my research that we get any chicken from Malaysia, it's certainly going to affect other places that do. And then there's going to be this ripple effect across the world. India, of course, they have been banning the exportation of certain food items, and now they're considering rice. And rice is something that we get from India. And so if they do ban or restrict the exportation of rice, that's going to affect us. Now, that's a major food staple here in the United States, and it's also a major prepper food staple. So I would recommend, if you don't have the rice that you need, and even if rice has gone up, it's still not terribly expensive, I would recommend stocking up on it. $100 will buy a lot of rice. That's something that you should be looking at, and it's just going to keep getting worse, and it's getting worse here in the United States here too, because of various factors, and one of them is this constant, never-ending, it seems, burning or accidental problems at food production facilities and farms and stuff. Here's one that caught fire a few days. I talked about that one. There's been a couple of more in egg production. They lost several million chickens due to a fire, and just as you can see, this is just constantly going on. I talked about the train wrecks and derailments that's been going on. Is it all connected? Is it orchestrated? Or is it just a really run of bad luck that the whole world is having? I think it's probably the latter of the two. So folks, this is another aspect of all this perfect storm that we're seeing happen with the food, the fuel. Then, of course, we have, the wars, and we have the inflation that we mentioned. And then there's another aspect, and this kind of gets left out a lot of times, but I think it plays an immensely huge, large role in all this, is we're watching the moral fabric of our society completely be destroyed with this rabid push in just a short amount of time. I mean, we're talking in the last 2 or 3 years, that's all. This push of the complete destruction of everything that's been a moral standard in our world and in our country. Family values, gender, sexuality, everything has been put to the test, and everything is being overturned, and everything is just being destroyed for some new concept that for the vast majority, I mean, if you look at the statistics, the vast majority, you and I that think the way we do about this, we're not in the minority. We're in the majority, a large majority. In fact, there's very, very few things right now in the United States that unifies Americans as much as this whole gender identity and pushing it on our children and forcing, drag queens and all that kind of stuff. There's very few things that unify Americans as much as that, but it doesn't matter. They're forcing it down everyone's throat. And I believe that is a huge piece of this whole puzzle, because to bring down and destroy a society, to destroy a government, it's not just economics, okay? It's not just supplies and food. It's not just militarily and through actual force and combat. Those are all important factors. They are all important factors. But if you can absolutely destroy the values, the core values of that people, those people that you're attacking or that you are at war with, and you can successfully do that. You can successfully destroy the core values of the people that you are fighting against. Then their destruction is at your hand. I mean, it's right in the palm of your hand. And we are seeing that happen right now. There's a particular video I was debating on whether to show. I thought, well, maybe I can blur out the things that aren't really family friendly. Try to keep this channel completely G-rated, and then I realized if I did that, there wasn't really anything to show of the video. So you can go on Twitter if you want, or probably other services. I shared it on my Twitter page. You can probably go to Matt Walsh, which is a very well-known YouTube and blogger and stuff, or Libs of TikTok. They share this kind of stuff. And there's the amount of these drag queens in schools. There are businesses, even in Europe, not just in the United States. This isn't just a United States thing. This is a West thing, pushing this. There's been commercials on TV in Europe pushing the most just ridiculous, disgusting concepts of what, men and women are, and family values and sexuality. And it's not just being done behind closed doors. And, there's the argument is this kind of stuff has always been. Well, it's always been, but it's always been in people's private lives and in their bedrooms. And quite frankly, what you do in your bedroom and behind closed doors, I don't really care about. I just don't care. It's meaningless to me. That's between you and God the Father. But when you're trying to create policies and change laws and force me to accept certain things and then teach it to our children and try to convince them that they're part of this community, because they're just uncertain about their life. You know, when you ask a 9-year-old boy, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. Oh, well, then you must be gender fluid. Or a 9-year-old girl, you know, or a 12-year-old girl, if there's anything that she dislikes about her body, and she does and points out, then they say, well, maybe you're actually a man in there, because that's exactly what they're saying. Look it up. I'm not even beginning to stretch the truth. This is a major factor in all of this. And I know I've missed a few things. There's definitely a few big things. I could make this video over a half hour probably if I started listing all the different aspects of this perfect storm. I'm just trying to hit the highlights of the few big ones. And so when you put all this together, when you put resources, energy, money, food, government, wars, and then the very moral fabric of our society, when you put it all in shambles and upheaval, it is building a major perfect storm that is coming at us, folks. And there seems to be, over the last few weeks, this buildup of all of this. And you're watching the news, like I said, when it comes to the fuel shortages and the food shortages and the inflation. For a long while, they were either denying it was going to happen or saying it's not going to be that bad. But just in the last week, maybe 2 weeks, it seems like in the media, even mainstream media, that there's been this acknowledgement and this warning that, hey, this is going to happen. We're going to see shortages. Inflation's going to get worse. We're going to see fuel shortages. It's going to get bad. And so what I believe we're seeing is this buildup, and we're about to hit a point that it's going to start getting bad. So above all, folks, we have to start getting ready. If you haven't you should have been getting ready 2 or 3 years ago, okay? Now, if you're just now waking up, don't feel bad. I mean, maybe a little bad, but don't feel completely hopeless. I think there's still time. I mean, you can still go to the store and buy food. The price has gone up, but you can still buy food. So you need to be stocking up. You need to be going down the path of self-sufficiency as much as possible, growing your own food, making connections with others around you, building your mental strength, that mental fortitude, that battle warrior mindset, because what we're going to go through is going to be very much like that. I mean, you may not be, you know, in a trench with bullets zinging over your head, but the stress levels, the chaos, the turmoil is going to probably be as close to an actual battle as you'll ever experience. So developing that warrior mindset of getting yourself psychologically ready for what we're going to face is going to be very important. And then also spiritual readiness, which is really the most important thing. That connection with God the Father and His Son, Yeshua, getting yourself on your knees in prayer and in His Word, strengthening yourself spiritually is also, because you know what, and a lot of you agree with me, everything that's happening right now, everything, the total picture, those times when I talk about the total big picture, like the big mural on the wall or the big puzzle, it's all spiritual warfare in the end. So there are different things that we need to be doing to get ready for it. The physical, the mental, and the spiritual. That's why I mention that almost every day on here. We can get through this because we know how this ends. I mean, there was a book written a long time ago, without getting too preachy, that told about all of this happening, and it told how it's going to end, and it told how to avoid the destruction in the end. So you can go read that book too. But folks, let me tell you, you've got to be serious about this. I know you think about all the stuff that's happening, and then you also think about, well, my daily life isn't drastically bad. I mean, it's changed some. It's changed some in the last few months, or well, it's changed a little bit more than that in the last year. Well, it's changed kind of quite a bit in the last 2 years. But you know, life is still happening. That's right. That's how, you know, they cook frogs in a skillet. You know, it's a little bit of a time. Until you wake up one day and you realize that you've gone so far that you're too far gone now. You're past that point of no return, and I think we're getting to that pretty quickly, folks, if we've not already crossed that threshold. So continue on your prepping, path, your journey. getting everything ready, your family, yourself, your preps, get it all going. If you're looking for some emergency freeze-dried stuff, the long-term food storage, there's a link down in the description below. You can go to preparewithtravis.com. It does help keep this channel going and helps the family and pay for expenses, you know, a little bit. But you can go there also. But folks, get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, because I believe the storm is upon us. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.